live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Anne Waodo.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, Supreme Court of Nigeria affirms death sentence for Mariam Sanda in husband's murder case. Court orders remand of former Labour Minister Chris Ngige in Kuje Correctional Centre after EFCC arraigns him on an 8-count corruption charge. Federal government temporarily opens a 47-kilometre section of Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road to facilitate Yuletide travel. And Russia pushes back against Europe's initiative to loan its frozen funds to Ukraine.
On business news tonight, FCCPC expands probe into alleged exploitative airfares on domestic South-South, Southeast routes.
On sports news tonight, mixed reactions trail Super Eagles final AFCON squad, with clubs only allowed to release players 7 days to the tournament.
And from the nation's capital, Imo State government demolishes illegal structures linked to alleged organ harvesting on Owerri-Aba Expressway.
We begin tonight with judicial matters as the Supreme Court has reaffirmed the death sentence that was handed to the daughter-in-law of the former chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Mariam Sanda, for committing culpable homicide. In a split judgment of 4-1, a 5-member panel of the justices of the Apex Court restated the judicial pronouncement that ordered her death by hanging. The court resolved all the issues she raised to set aside her conviction and the sentence against her and dismissed her appeal for want of merit. In the lead verdict delivered by Justice Moore Adumain, the Apex Court held that the prosecution established her guilt beyond every reasonable doubt. It also held that the Court of Appeal's decision that upheld the sentence that was passed by the trial court was unassailable. The Supreme Court held that it was wrong for the executive to seek to exercise powers to grant pardon over a case of culpable homicide with a pending appeal. An Abuja High Court had on January the 27th, 2020, sentenced her to death by hanging after she was found guilty of stabbing her husband, Biliamin Bello, to death at their Abuja residence in 2017. Meanwhile, Justice Mariam Hassan of the Federal Capital Territory High Court has ordered the remand of the former Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, at the Kuje Correctional Centre. Dr. Ngige, who was arraigned on an 8-count charge by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on alleged corruption charges, will remain in Kuje Correctional Centre till Monday, December the 15th, when his bail application will be heard. He was specifically charged with conferring unfair advantage on his associates in the award of several contracts when he held office as minister between 2015 and 2023.
The former Minister of Labour and Employment, Mr. Chris Ngige, arrives the Federal Capital Territory High Court in Gwarimpa District in the company of officials of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for his arraignment on alleged corruption instituted against him by the EFCC. The courtroom is quite full of lawyers from both sides, friends and well-wishers who have come to witness the case. Part of the charge against him is that he allegedly conferred unfair advantage on his associates in the award of several contracts when he held office as minister between 2015 and 2023. He was also accused of corruptly accepting gifts of several millions of naira through his organizations while he was in office. However, he pleaded not guilty to all the 8-count charges brought against him by the EFCC. However, his bail application could not be taken as it was served on the prosecution shortly before the court's proceedings. His lead counsel, Mr. Patrick Ikweto, pleaded with the court to admit the former minister on health grounds pending the hearing of the bail. But the request was opposed to the counsel to the EFCC, Mr. Silvanos Tahir, on claims that the former minister was a flight risk, adding that he would respond formally to the bill application.
Naturally, before commencement of trial, the place of abode for him shall be nowhere other than the correctional center. And that's the application we made to the Honorable Court. But they desired that the man should just walk home from here, while there is a pending formal bail application that has been filed before the Honorable Court, which we, the prosecution, need to react to.
What I said to the court was that I'm happy that there's no allegation. And this is something that's worrisome in our country. There's no allegation that the former minister embezzled funds belonging to the federal government or funds belonging to the ministry where he was the minister, but that contracts were given to his cronies, or his associates. And then it's worrisome because I know that all government parastatals, including the NSITF or even the Ministry of Labour, all government parastatals ought to have a contract tenders board.
In a short ruling, Justice Mariam Hassan adjourned till Monday, December 15 for hearing in the bill application.
We turn our attention now to infrastructure, as road users in Lagos will now have a cause to smile this season, as the federal government has temporarily opened up for use Section 1 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road, which links Akmadu Bello Way in Victoria Island to Eleko Village Junction. At the opening ceremony, the Minister of Works, David Umahi, who represented President Bola Tinubu, says the gesture is to enable Lagosians enjoy easy movement this festive season. According to the minister, the 47.47-kilometer section boasts of 6 lanes, street lights, and CCTV cameras.
With the authority of Mr. President, who directed me to come and temporarily open this road to ease the problems of transportation for Lagosians, especially in this festive period. With total humility and respect for him, but with full gratitude to God Almighty, who has enabled Mr. President to overcome the challenges of his dream, and he has made it flesh. I, therefore, on behalf of Mr. President and in compliance to his directive, together with our leaders here, do hereby, to the watch of God Almighty, open this first section of Lagos Calabar in Lagos Highway temporarily for the use of our Nigerians. God bless you.
Thank you. A round of applause. Thank you so much. We just had from the Honorable Minister of Works.
The governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, has declared that he is now the #1 member of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, in the state. He made this remark while flagging off the 7.1-kilometer commissioning of the rehabilitated 12.2-kilometer Port Harcourt International Airport Road and the flag off of a bypass by residents in nearby communities. Those ceremonies were performed by the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, who commended Governor Fubara's vision for the projects.
Friday's project delivery in Rivers State comes in 2 phases. The commissioning of a rehabilitated 12.2-kilometer road linking the Port Harcourt International Airport, as well as the flag-off of a 7.1-kilometer bypass that will serve communities around the airport. Until now, residents of the communities beyond the airport relied solely on the existing road connecting the local and international terminals as their only access route. That challenge will soon be over as the Rivers State government is flagging off the construction of a new access road expected to be completed in 8 months. The ceremony is being performed by the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo.
It has always been, first, our headache that the road leading to the Port Harcourt Airport, once you branch up the highway, that road had been in a deplorable condition. And we had always wanted to give that road a facelift so that those who arrive at Port Harcourt, which is one of our international airports, one of our oldest international airports, they will have a good view of the city or a good impression when they are driving into the city.
Rivers State's Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, who commends the Ministry of Aviation for supporting efforts to resolve recurring airport access disruptions by locals, says the rehabilitated airport road now gives the state a befitting gateway.
We have started it already to create a bypass where the community people can access their place without interfering with the issue of the airport. The truth about it is not even healthy that you should be passing through the airport to your communities in case something happens. So we have resolved this issue for you today. This road would lead to your communities. It will also bring development.
Governor Fubara also sparks excitement among his supporters when he confirms his membership status in the APC, having formally completed the documentation before the day's event.
Today, I'm also very happy this morning. I'm not just a member of the All Progressive Congress. I am the number one. I have collected, listen, wait now, wait. I have collected my card, and the form is 0001.
Residents are optimistic that the renewed collaboration between the state and federal government, reinforced by Governor Siminalayi Fubara's new political alignment, will speed up project delivery and bring more tangible benefits to the state.
The federal government says it is fully committed to building a robust digital workforce through the 3 million Technical Talent Program M3MTT, which is a key driver of its $1 trillion economic ambition. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Mr. George Akume, stated this when he represented President Bola Tinubu at the 3MTT National Impact Summit in Abuja. According to him, the program is created to boost jobs, build confidence among the youth, and position Nigeria as a global exporter of digital talent. Our correspondent Benny Ark reports.
The 3 million Technical Talent Program of the Federal Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy is the focus of the National Impact Summit, where stakeholders reviewed the progress in developing a world-class digital workforce. The initiative seeks to train 3 million tech professionals to support Nigeria's digital growth. The summit brings together government officials, private sector leaders, and development partners to assess progress and chart the future of the program.
When we launched this program in 2023, in less than a month, we saw over 1.8 million Nigerians signed up to be part of 3MTT. So what you're seeing in the room today is just a glimpse of what 3MTT is all about. Our goal today is to celebrate the fellows, but I think most importantly is to celebrate Mr. President as well for his dedication and support to this program.
Our latest contribution to this package, to the tune of 45 million euros, was signed just 2 days ago in Brussels by the Honourable Minister with our EU Commissioner for International Partnerships. And it will in particular support strategic investments in the bridge project to help roll out 90,000 kilometers of optic fiber and for digital public infrastructure.
The goal of the initiative is to build Nigeria's technical talent backbone and position the nation as a net exporter of technical talent, with trainings provided in areas such as software development, data analysis, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and more.
It is my honor to welcome
The government is hoping to build a strong digital workforce that can drive a $1 trillion economy.
In a world defined by rapid technological change, the countries that lead are those that invest purposefully and meaningfully in the skills of their young population. That is why our renewed Hope agenda places human capital development at its core, and why programs like 3MTT remain central to our economic strategy. ambition to build a $1 trillion economy will not be achieved by chance. It requires productivity, innovation, and a workforce whose skills meet global standards.
The first phase started with 30 fellows, and subsequent phases aim to train hundreds of thousands more. The program is in partnership with the European Union, the United Nations Development Program, Microsoft, Google, among other partners. Benny Ark, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, Imo State government demolishes illegal structures linked to alleged organ harvesting in Owerri-Aba Expressway. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. Supreme Court of Nigeria affirms death sentence for Miriam Sanda in husband's murder case. Court orders remand of former Labour Minister Chris Ngige in Kuje Correctional Centre after EFCC arraigned him on an 8-count charge of corruption. The federal government has temporarily opened 47-kilometre section of Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road to facilitate Yuletide travel. And Russia pushes back against Europe's initiative to loan its frozen funds to Ukraine. Let's continue the news at 10 now as we head over to Abuja studios where Millicent Walker is standing by. Over to you, Millicent.
Many thanks, Anne. We begin in Imo State, where the government has demolished the illegal mortuary recently uncovered by the State Police Command in Umwechem Umuhu community along the Owerri-Aba Expressway. The facility is allegedly used for storing mutilated corpses suspected to be linked to an organ harvesting organization. During the operation, the Imo State Commissioner of Police, Danjuma Aboki, says security operatives remain on the trail of the suspected operator, Stanley Oparugo, also known as Morocco, who is currently at large. Our correspondent, Itope, has the details.
Just days after the Imo State Police Command uncovered an illegal mortuary in Umwechem Umum community along the Owerri-Aba Expressway, a combined team of security operatives and state officials led by the Commissioner of Police returned to the site. This time, the mission was clear and uncompromising. Demolish the mortuary, the adjoining hotel allegedly used as a decoy, and the suspect's residence. Before the demolition began, unclaimed corpses were carefully evacuated for mass burial. Government officials confirmed that public announcements had been made, allowing families ample time to claim their deceased relatives.
We mobilized our emergency response team. They are here. Following the directive of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Imo State, to evacuate the rest of the corpses out of here to a proper mortuary, and then we'll give a few days more grace in case there are people who own them, and then we'll have a mass burial. From the look of things, this place has been in a terrible condition. It does not suit the standard of a mortuary. So based on that, we made a decision that we will report back to His Excellency. And as of today, a decision has been reached for this place to be demolished, as I said last week, after making sure that people picked their relatives that are, kept in this place for a long time.
The Commissioner of Police, Danjuma Aboki, assured that while the suspected operator remains at large, security operatives are actively pursuing him.
We are going to wait for some days for those that devils the corpse should come and claim their corpses. And up till now, the owner of the mortuary that was declared wanted, he has not come out. Up till now, we don't know who owned this mortuary. Yes, he has been declared wanted for over 3 weeks ago.
Once the site was cleared, demolition began.
Come on, Oga.
The team moved systematically from the mortuary to the adjoining hotel, believed to have served as a cover for the illicit operation. Finally, they reached the suspect's residence within the same premises. The building was demolished and the shrine allegedly linked to the suspect activities was burnt down. Authorities say the operation sends a strong warning against illegal mortuaries and illicit practices in the state, reaffirming Imo government's commitment to public safety and the rule of law. Ejitopa Kutai, Channels Television News.
Nigeria's education sector has received a major boost with the launch of 1 trillion naira scholarship scheme from the Aliko Dangote Foundation. The initiative, which will benefit 1.3 million Nigerian students from all the states of the Federation, will be executed with 100 billion naira committed annually for 10 years. Founder Alhaji Aliko Dangote, speaking at the launch in Lagos, says the scholarship is a strategic investment in Nigeria's future. Our correspondent Olumide Macaulay reports.
A gathering of influential personalities in this hall from the public and private sector points to the significance of the event, made more imperative with the presence of the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, and the governors, captains of industry, traditional rulers, top brass of Aliko Dangote, and the industrial behemoth at whose behest they are all gathered, Alhaji Aliko Dangote.
For many years, our foundation has invested in community learning and school infrastructure, from university hostels across Nigeria to the Meshuka Iri, which is a program in Kano, early learning program in Kano State, which has already reached over 10,000 children and will expand further in 2026.
The Vice President of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima, spares no eulogies on Aliko Dangote's influence in Africa and the world, demonstrated by this altruism in education.
The legacy of Alhaji Aliko Dangote is a reminder that greatness is not measured by wealth. Greatness is measured by the number of lives one leads from the shadows into the light.
The Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, explains just how powerful and necessary the impact of the scholarship is.
Why is it a big deal? 100 billion naira a year over year for 10 years. 1 trillion naira being invested in pure human capital development. In pure brain gain in areas of STEM, skills, and more importantly, girl-child education.
For the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the impact of Aliko Dangote is worthy of emulation.
I want to assure you that this is a partnership that we will make it work. Not only at the Federal Ministry of Education alone, each and every of my brother governors, sitting down here, I'm sure nodding their heads, it has to be a partnership that we will truly make work.
After the event, as the group photos are taken, Alhaji Aliko Dangote speaks further on his expectations.
My own vision is that in the next 10 years or so, we should have millions of people under this scholarship. We say that we are going to review. We don't want to really overcommit because we have gigantic projects ahead of us. So we want to deliver on our vision. At the 2030, by the grace of God, when we are celebrating our vision targets being achieved, we will look at what we are going to do. This one that we have done is just the tip of the iceberg. I can assure you, majority of people that are not able to afford education, we will educate them.
Nigeria is blessed with a blossoming population. No doubt, further having good advantage as billions of naira targets granting educational access to children and students by the Aliko Dangote Foundation, which said impact will transcend generations. Olumide Macaulay, Channels Television News.
With a commitment to providing standard luxury housing investment opportunities in the heart of Lekki Phase 1 through its Metro Smart City initiative, Metro Speed Property Development Limited has signed another major partnership contract with Nigeria LNG Cooperative with the vision of building premium houses for its staff. According to the CEO of Metro Speed Group, Colonel Dele Oyefuga, retired, the partnership is set to benefit both organizations as it would secure better living conditions for their workforce. To provide a quality living experience for Nigerians through its Metro Smart City project, one of Nigeria's leading real estate firms, Metro Speed Property Development Limited, has signed yet another significant partnership contract with Nigeria LNG Cooperative, a global energy company.
Together, we hope to build a synergy that will showcase a good living environment in Nigeria. So that
the signing ceremony, which took place at the Metro Speed Group office in Lagos, validates the firm's vision for its lofty smart city, which continues to gain traction with multinationals. The management of both companies sees this partnership as a very strategic one that holds much benefits.
The project is already, well established. Reclamation will end in 2026 and then infrastructure has already begun. We started with our roads. So give or take, by 2027, we'll be looking at, commissioning and handing over to the first set of our subscribers.
Getting these on board for us gives value to all our people. If you see how much we've subscribed and the presentation that was made to us, then the question that we're asked, very straight answer, shows that Metro Speed has integrity and their clarity. Also, that's what we do in the oil and gas.
For the Metro Speed team, the Metro Smart City project is positioned to redefine urban living for its future-thinking investors like Chevron, M-Coop, Goplex, and now NLNG cooperatives, among others.
Location choice is very premium. In terms of what you find, we are talking about full integration of Internet of Things, smarter people accessing, smarter homes.
We are providing a unique solution for housing in Lagos State, the experience that compares to what you find anywhere else in the world. We believe that Lagosians deserve the right to be able to have the same experience that contemporaries enjoy all over the world.
Metro Smart City, designed to integrate advanced technology and sustainability, it also aims to create a vibrant and inclusive urban environment, providing 24 hours electricity, security and surveillance, lagoon jetty access, green parks and leisure space, inverter system, and lots more. Still ahead on the news at 10, Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission expands probe into alleged exploitative affairs on domestic South-South and Southeast routes. That's on Business News. Please join us again. Welcome back. You're still watching the news at 10 on Channels Television. The Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has inaugurated the rehabilitated Akilo 1 million gallons per day water facility in the Oba area of Lagos. Speaking at the inauguration ceremony, Governor Sanwo-Olu described the project as a beacon of hope and results of effective collaboration with development partners, and it will provide public water for over 100,000 residents within the community.
A major milestone in public water supply is being celebrated at Akilo, Ogba, Lagos. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, alongside members of the State Executive Council and traditional rulers, officially commissioned the Akilo 1 million gallons per day water facility. This 1.3 billion naira project, facilitated by WaterAid Nigeria in partnership with the Lagos Water Corporation, aims to provide residents with reliable access to safe water.
Today is a remarkable day for us at the Lagos Water Corporation. To stand here to witness the revival of Akilo mini water works is both humbling and uplifting. It represents what is possible when commitment meets partnership and when promises are deliberately translated into action.
As we commission this project today, WaterAid is proud of all we have achieved in partnership with the government of Lagos State through the Ministry of Environment and Water Resources and the Lagos Water Corporation. We are also excited to learn of Mr. Governor's commitment to the completion of Adiyon 1 and 2 water projects. We understand that upon completion, they will combine to supply 140 million gallons per day of water, and that this will increase access to clean and safe water to about 55% of residents of Lagos State.
The Lagos State government emphasizes that the Urban Water and Sanitation Access Project is a critical step towards achieving Sustainable Development Goal 6, which is to ensure clean water and proper sanitation for all residents.
This project is a testament to the unwavering commitment of Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. We want to reaffirm our commitment to the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly Goals number 6, which emphasizes access to clean water and sanitation for all.
Community leaders expressed strong approval of the rehabilitated Akilo water facility, highlighting its importance for daily use and long-term sustainability.
With this facility, thousands of households will experience relief from the burden of water scarcity and businesses within and around Ogba.
Governor Sanwo-Olu expressed optimism that this strategic investment in water infrastructure will significantly address water and sanitation challenges in Ogba, Agege, and surrounding communities.
This is one solution that I must commend that within a short while we've been able to solve it, and our people that are the residents of this community in Ogba, Kabiyesi has spoken, in Ogudu, in Agege, they are all here, will be the beneficiary. I've looked at the grid of how the recreation is and where it will get to. I think it covers a fairly decent amount in your neighborhood.
Residents are urged to protect the facility as the Lagos State government pledges to replicate similar projects across the state in order to achieve universal access to safe and affordable water by the year 2030.
Alpha ESS, a global provider of green energy storage solutions, has officially expanded into West Africa with the opening of its new subsidiary right here in Lagos. Speaking at that launch and product unveiling ceremony, the country manager Max Luo said that Nigeria was chosen as the company's regional base due to its fast-growing and highly dynamic energy market in West Africa.
Launching its official presence in West Africa, Alpha ESS hosts an exclusive opening ceremony in Lagos, drawing key stakeholders from government, financial institutions, distributors, and energy installers. The ceremony opens with a keynote address by the General Manager for Alpha ESS Africa, an American business unit.
Here in Africa, we already have subsidiaries in South Africa, in Kenya, and today, today's ceremony marks the official establishment of Alpha ESS West Africa.
2, 1. The highlight of the event is the ribbon cutting ceremony and celebratory toast, formally unveiling Alpha ESS West Africa. Before now, Alpha ESS had already built a strong footprint in Nigeria with its energy storage systems powering telecom towers, factories, hotels, schools, and rural communities in partnership with the Rural Electrification Agency.
Alpha ESS is one of the products that are reliable, that can provide value for money for development of the projects that they currently have, for development of renewable energy projects that they're currently undergoing.
Nigeria is one of the most dynamic energy markets in the world. We see growth in every segment: residential, C&I, and productive use.
On the sidelines of the launch, the company showcases a range of new cutting-edge energy storage solutions, including advanced inverters and battery systems designed for residential, commercial, and industrial use.
What we've brought into the market is reliability and affordability. One thing we are known for is active technical support, either pre-sales or after-sales. We do that 24 hours. So we ensure that we support the customers with trainings, with site technical trainings or online trainings. We provide equipment technical support, and we have various channels of communication with them.
As part of its long-term commitment to Nigeria, Alpha ESS also unveils its Shine 30-30-30 initiative, a renewable energy program targeting the training of 30% of Nigeria's electrician workforce and the donation of televisions and basic learning equipment to 30 schools by the year 2030, aimed at powering a brighter and more sustainable future. 1, 2, 3, go.
Let's join Dominic Iwewo to bring us stories from the world of business.
Thank you, Anne. On business news, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, says it has expanded its ongoing investigation into the ticket pricing templates used by some airlines on selected domestic routes, particularly the South-South and Southeast regions of the country. This comes amid growing concerns over alleged coordinated airfare manipulation or exploitation as end-of-the-year travel picks up. A statement issued today, the FCCPC says that the inquiry now focuses on operators flying the affected routes. And it's another good news, this time for the domestic stock markets, which recorded another increase on its benchmark index as it nears the 150,000 mark again. Inijo Mekwa tells us more.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the stock market report. Well, we may have had 3 negative closes this week, but today's gain alone raises all of that. 946 billion naira is what investors brought into the market, and that raised our market cap to 95.264 trillion naira. The all share just at 1% in the green is at 149,433.23. Should we not lose hope that we might be one of the best performing market at the close of the year? Well, most of this is because of interest on MTN. MTN Nigeria opened at 495 naira 70 kobo, gained 36 naira, and at the close of trade, it was 531 naira 70 kobo. Let's look at the sectors and see other contributors to that. Banking, unfortunately, did not contribute to that. Banking closed negative today, 0.54%. A lot of profit taken on Access Co, GT Co, UBA, and Zenith. However, we see a lot of interest also on Dangote Sugar and Guinness, as well as Champion, and so that counter is up more than 1.5%. Oil and gas, however, is on the flip side, 0.09% down. Owando and Japan Gold experienced some profit taking. So at the close of the trade today and for this week, it's a win, and it's the bull.
Thank you, Ini. We end business news for Friday with snapshots of closing figures for the major global stock markets. And that's it on business news. Back to Anne for the rest of the news at 10.
Thank you, Dominic. And still to come on the news at 10, Russia pushes back against Europe's initiative to loan its frozen funds to Ukraine. That's in and around the world in 5. Please join us again. Welcome back. Let's join Simon Pizzi for more international news and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Germany has accused Russia of a cyber attack on air traffic control and attempted electoral interference, and summoned the Russian ambassador. A foreign ministry spokesman said Russian military intelligence was behind a cyber attack against German air traffic control in August of last year. The spokesperson also accused Russia of seeking to influence and destabilize the country's federal election in February this year. The latest accusations come amid heightened concern in Europe over suspected Russian cyber attacks since Moscow launched its invasion of Ukraine in 2022. There was no immediate response from Russia.
This bill has been defeated.
Indiana Republicans have defied intense pressure from President Donald Trump by rejecting his demands that they pass a voting map meant to favor their party in next year's midterm elections. In one of the most conservative states in the U.S., 21 Republicans in the Senate joined all 10 Democrats to torpedo the restricting plan by a vote of 31-19. If it had cleared the legislature, Republicans could have flipped the only 2 Democratic-held congressional seats in the Senate.
There's no reason for doing that, and the Democrats do it to us, so I can't imagine that they do it, but I wasn't very much involved, but there's a man named Bray, as I guess, head of the Senate. Was that Bray? Is that the name, Bray? I mean, I'm sure that whenever his primary is, it's, I think, in 2 years, but I'm sure he'll go down.
Benin's foreign minister says some 200 West African soldiers are in the country to support the government following Sunday's failed coup. The attempt was foiled after foreign fighter jets drove the mutineers out of a military base and state TV headquarters, where they had declared a takeover. This is the first time that officials have said how many foreign soldiers were deployed to the country, although it is not clear if some have been withdrawn since Sunday. More photos from the estate of the convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein have been released by Democrats to the House Oversight Committee. The 19 photographs include images of US President Donald Trump, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and Steve Bannon. There is no suggestion that these pictures imply any wrongdoing, and many of those featured in them have denied any wrongdoing in relation to Epstein. Some of the images have been seen before. With others, it's unclear where and when the photos were taken or who took them. Reddit has launched a challenge in Australia's highest court against the nation's landmark social media ban for children. The online forum is among 10 social media platforms which must bar Australians under 16 from having accounts under a new law which began on Wednesday. The ban, which is being watched closely around the world, was justified by campaigners and the government as necessary to protect children from harmful content and algorithms. Reddit is complying with the ban, but in its case will argue that the policy has serious implications for privacy and political rights. It is the second such challenge, with 2 Australian teens also awaiting a High Court hearing. A popular Ghanaian social media influencer known as Abu Trika, whose real name is Frederick Kumi, has been arrested over allegations he orchestrated a romance scam that defrauded elderly Americans out of over $8 million. Prosecutors said he used AI tools to create fake online identities, targeting victims through social media and dating sites, earning their trust and extorting their money. Kumi faces charges in the US of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and a money laundering conspiracy, and faces up to 20 years in prison if found guilty.
There was this horrible attack in Liverpool.
And backstage footage from her Eras tour shows Taylor Swift breaking down in tears after meeting survivors and families of the victims of the Southport stabbing attack in the UK. The star met privately with some of those affected by the attack in July 2024, which took place at a Taylor Swift-themed dance workshop and claimed the lives of 3 young girls. Afterwards, she sobbed in her dressing room as her mother, Andrea, tried to comfort her. Adding to the emotional burden, the Wembley show also marked Taylor Swift's return to the stage after cancelling 3 concerts in Vienna in Austria due to a terrorist threat. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Super Eagles of Nigeria will feature 28 players at the 35th edition of the African Cup of Nations starting in Morocco in 9 days' time. The players are expected to arrive camp barely 1 week to the continental showpiece, fueling debate on the state of preparations of the participating countries at the competition.
Super Eagles head coach Eric Schell has submitted his final 27-man squad for this year's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco, beating CAF's official deadline. The roster features 3 goalkeepers, with Francis Uzoro earning a return to the national team setup. In defense, England-based Calvin Bassey headlines an 8-man backline that includes fresh call-ups Igor Obu and Ryan Alebiosu. The midfield sees further new faces with Usman Mohamed Tochukwu Nadi and Ebenezer Akinsomiro, all set for their first senior national team involvement. Up front, Croatia-based youngster Salim Fago Lawal makes a surprise entry into an attack led by former African Footballers of the Year Victor Osimhen and Ademola Lookman. The players are expected to report to camp no later than Sunday, December 15, which marks the mandatory release date for clubs ahead of the tournament. This gives competing nations just 6 days of preparation before the AFCON kicks off on Sunday, December 21. The shortened release window has sparked debate among football analysts, with opinions split on whether it gives teams sufficient time to prepare.
CAF hasn't done well at all. We even look at FIFA coming in to say you can only release players on the 15th, and the competition is starting on the 21st. They've taken Africa for a ride, and I think it's high time we started doing something. So that is very wrong, very, very wrong.
I don't think that's going to be a problem. We've seen players arrive 24 hours before a game, and they play and they win. This is a tournament. It's not just even one-off. So we'll gradually build into or get into the groove of the competition. It could have been better, but this is what we have. FIFA has to also do what? Play the politics of the game with the owners of these players, the club sides.
The founding father of CAF, for instance, insisted that the competition must be done at a certain period that benefit everybody, so that all this issue of releasing of players, which has now become a problem. How can you be releasing African players for a tournament as big as the AFCON just a week to the tournament?
As discussions continue, many observers insist that the Confederation of African Football must strengthen its stance to ensure AFCON receives the global respect befitting Africa's flagship international tournament.
That sports is back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. The Supreme Court of Nigeria has affirmed the death sentence for Miriam Sanda in her husband's murder case. That's it on News at 10. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Good night. Have a wonderful weekend.